So, of course, what did you guys think of the demo? Obviously, it's so bright, I've got to wear shades. Uh, but anyway, I thought that was a neat song. I've been kind of playing it on repeat here lately, and I thought it'd be a great song to demo this. Of course, this is the Hegel H80. Now, this is a unique model of the H80 in the sense that it does not have digital inputs. Of course, here's a photo of the back of it. As you can see, no digital inputs. Now, it's also silver as well, which the standard H80 didn't come in silver. Now, I contacted Hegel about it, and they told me that it was produced, this particular model, the H80S, was produced for the Japanese domestic market, but they did make a few available internationally outside of Japan, in Europe, and of course North America, and obviously this is a North American model. So of course it's the regular H80 amp circuit and all that kind of good stuff, but it does not have a DAC board in it. So that's really the differentiator here, but it still sounds and works and performs, you know, just as nice as those did and do, and you know, the regular model did. But anyway, this is my first exposure to Hegel. I've been wanting to check out a Hegel amp for a while, and occasionally you can, or I don't want to even say occasionally, you can regularly find them on the used market for fairly cheap, fairly inexpensively. Really not too bad. Unfortunately, I've just never sort of bit the bullet, but my local friend who lets me get components from time to time to sort of check out, he had this. And it was actually an amp he sold a couple years ago to another regular customer of his besides myself. And the guy traded it back in for something else that he had gotten, you know, and I was like, man, let me check that thing out. I really want to. I've never heard a Hegel product. And anyway, my initial impressions with this is that it is absolutely fan-frickin-tastic. It has great rhythm and drive, what the British call Pratt. I mention that a lot in my videos, but to me it's important. Music should feel like, you know, you should feel the rhythm, the intent, the musical intent and emotion of music. And Pratt, when you have an amp that portrays that, you get more of that, in my opinion. Now, I read on a forum post, somebody was reviewing this, not, you know, the one with the digital inputs, the regular H80. They were reviewing it, and they said that it kind of reminded them of an NAD amp in terms of the sound quality, sort of the general tone and character, right? And I would agree with that, 100%, but there are some key differences. So in my opinion, NAD is very forceful. It's very, and when I say NAD, I don't mean their modern stuff. Let me clarify. I mean the C326, the C356 BEE, sort of their last effort they were making for their Class AB design. They had this very robust, powerful sound, you know, this very grandiose sound, and it was very powerful and forceful, and you really felt like there was something coming out of the speakers, man. There was a lot coming out in terms of sound. And this kind of has that as well, a very similar character overall. But where the distinction happens with this is far more subtle. It has more nuance to the music, particularly in the mid-range, more, but also in the treble as well. You can hear more in the treble than my recollection of the NAD amplifiers that I mentioned. You know, it's more delicate, it's more precise in the treble, in the mid-range as well, but it's more nuanced. Think about it like like boxing. Those NAD amps are kind of like George Foreman. They're all power. They just smash and punch and hit, and that's all that they do. They don't do nothing else. Excuse me. But the Hegel is like that as well, but it's kind of more like Muhammad Ali in the sense of, yeah, he's got the punch and the smash, and he can do that, but he's also more subtle. He's lighter on his feet. He really gets in there and really goes for it. Unlike George Foreman, who was always just, bam, that's all he did, more or less. But anyway, yeah, definitely more grace, more subtlety, more of like a ninja in the sense of it's just more, you can see more into it. But it's really infectious sounding when you have this thing going. You just want to keep listening to music. That's sort of the character that it has. And it's one of the few amps I've had over the years that really does that. And it doesn't sound great with particular types of music. It sounds great with all. I've listened to jazz, obviously, you know, 90s alternative, 80s alternative. I've gotten back into listening to Talking Heads and a lot of 80s alternative music. And it sounds great with that. It sounds great with electronic. It sounds great with classical. It just sounds great. But yeah, my first exposure to Hegel certainly is awesome. and it certainly won't be my last exposure. Anyway, peace out.